Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Today, we have some data mines to talk about. We also have some updates to Battleworld to talk about here in today's video because there's there's some updates in the data mines that also suggest that maybe Battleworld might be closer than we think. But there's some talk, especially among envoys and other, people who have been able to playtest the Battle World, which is not me, that have been talking about it and expressing their disappointment. Let's put it that way, of the tests. And I want to talk about that and why I'm not sure this time around if the data mines indicate this coming, even though there's a lot of suggestion that it's like, by the end of the month or early November. We'll talk about all this though. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. First things first, let's just start right here in the data mines. Some people were asking me in one of my previous videos, it looks like I was hoarding campaign energy. And I didn't know about this data mine before I was doing that. I just tend to, if there's no good reason for me to spend campaign energy, I tend to hoard it because, like I've mentioned in some of my other videos, that you can hoard campaign energy in perpetuity. And what that means is you can completely hoard campaign energy and still clear your strike pass. So when it comes to ISO 8, I don't generally hoard that because it makes it a lot more challenging to clear the strike pass if that's something you care about, especially right now with the Annihilators being in there. I think some people care about clearing it because if they're going to buy it, of course, as well, you want to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck and clearing all the levels. So, but for campaign energy, it's no problem. So the next event that we have is this is going to be next week starting Monday because this current event that we have ongoing right now is only a 6-day event, the Vampiric Frenzy, that's for some reason rewarding Thanos shards, but hey, whatever. So this one's called Twilight Vigil. This is the second main event for the month of October. Earn silver bullets and T3 level 1 ions. Commander, the Twilight Vigil milestone. Gain progress in this event by earning Twilight Orb fragments from campaigns. So that's one of the major inputs for this event. Battling through raids with a lot of the raid characters. Hive Mind, Extreme X-Men, Spider Society, or Alpha Flight. That's a lot of teams. At gear tier 18 or 19. So they're giving bonus points if you happen to have pretty high gear tier on these characters. What's really interesting is that that's a lot of different inputs, but I believe it's broken down by the team. So it's probably going to have a limit. And to what that is, I don't really, we won't know until the Friday blog post. So it's hard to say how significant this is going to be. But if you have at least one of these, one character on this team that's G19, then it's also going to give credit for the G18 stuff as well. Completing the Sugar Rush Web milestone, so that's going to come back. The stuff that we're working on right now, which is spending candy for the Sugar Rush Web milestone. Is it always going to be 400,000 every week? I don't know, but that's coming back next week as well, and for the next 4 weeks. Daily Web Free Claim and T3 ISO 8 credits, T3 Level 1 Ions, Dark Promo credits, Tech Gear. You'll also be earning months, blah, 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 towards the month long. And there's a leaderboard here. Compete on the leaderboard for Crimson Gear and Diamond promotions for Blade. Not that you guys care about the Diamond promotions because, it's the top 1,000, right? The Twilight Orb also contains Crimson Gear. There was a data mine of the orb down below that we'll kind of see here. The Mutant Rebellion web milestone. This is what confuses me because apparently there's a web milestone that also requires spending candy to earn points for the milestone, but that's exactly what Sugar Rush is. So I don't know if it's like a 2-for-1 here. That would be absolutely strange, but that's what the data mine shows, is that this web milestone connected to the event, which is separate from the Sugar Rush web milestone apparently, that they both require spending candy. Unless this iteration of Sugar Rush is somehow different and doesn't require spending candy. Anyways, here are the points for the event. Spending nice, so yeah, so this was in here. This was in the data mines, but it didn't say anything above in the text. So take this with a grain of salt. I don't think that's probably what's going to happen. I think that's probably an error. But it does say earn Twilight Orb fragments from campaign nodes, so that's primarily what it mentioned above. Battle in raids with Alpha Flight, and then Alpha Flight at G18 and 19. Hive Mind at G18, 19. Spider Society at G18, 19. And Extreme X-Men at G18 and 19. So that's 3 well, actually, 2, 3 Orcus teams, and then there's the Spotlight team, right? So there's a lot of different teams here that if you have G19 on any of these characters, it's going to help you gain points for this event, which is a leaderboard event. So we'll have to break that down more, obviously, when we know more, when we see it on Friday. But I just want to give you guys a heads up about what to expect for next week's leaderboard event. Then, of course, we have the Night Raid, which is going to be the successor to Dark Future. And this one is, this one gives, I think, bonus points for clearing Mystic nodes, but it doesn't say. So maybe not. I don't know how many milestone points they're going to be, if it's going to be a regurgitation of Dark Future, if they're just going to remove the bonus points from the tech nodes. I'm not sure. I thought I read a version where it said that they were going to give bonus points for the Mystic nodes. So I guess we're going to have to see whether or not it's any different next week when it goes live versus the points that we have for Dark Future right now, and maybe recalculate if necessary and see like if they're changing, if Decimal Dave is changing any of the numbers to clear this, because I actually like how Dark Future is right now because I'm able to clear all 20 of the milestones. And if that's the case for Night Raid, we won't know until we get there. So that's something different later on that we'll have to check up and update. Again, points for there. It does show it's very early, however, it does show battle in raids with Night Stalker characters, Blade, Oath, and Man Thing. They said something similar with the Dark Future Orcus raids, was that they had all 3 of the characters there, but I think it's just each week, each version, they kind of update it with the next character. That kind of thing. It's not like all of these are going to be on the first version of the milestone, so keep that in mind. And then we have the Twilight Orb here from that event, contains Crimson Gear. Now, the second thing, oh yeah, and Oath is the second character. So the character's Blade, Oath, Man Thing. That's the release order of the Night Stalker's character. There you go. That's basically what this one says. Getting to Battleworld, however. So I'm going to preface this, well, let's just start with this. So there's a whole list of offers that have been data mined that are related to Battleworld called Battleworld Prep. And you can see it here that they have, all sorts of resources, but they also have the teams. And if you remember my video from, I don't know how, a week and a half ago now, when I covered it, that it had all the data mines for the traits that you needed for Battleworld, a lot of these are the teams that you're going to be needing for that. We're going to take a look at the updated version of my slides as well, because I've included a new section called the bonus traits. I don't know if you've kept up with my Discord, maybe I've mentioned this, but essentially that each of the days or the zones are going to have bonus traits, which I've put in brackets because they're more specific traits. They're more specific teams within that trait that if you use those specific characters, you're going to get bonus points for the day. We'll take a look at that, though. But you can see that some of the offers here for the teams, you have Cabal, Alpha Flight, Mercs for Money, Spider Society, Annihilators. Have no idea who these people are. Like, I don't know who that's referencing another team. Secret Service, that's the name of the offer. Elite Forces, Forging the Future. Shard Special, Combat Specialist. These are probably specific characters. Maybe it's a team that they're just like, they have a nickname. I have no idea. But you can see the offers are all here. Epitome of Skill, blah, 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 all this stuff down here. So you can pause it if you want to read it. It's there. But the major point of this is that normally when it comes to data mines, when it comes to events, normally it's no more than a week and a half to 2 weeks out. When it comes to offers, 2 to 3 weeks. Like normally it's not that far in advance, but I've seen things, about 3 weeks in advance when it comes to some offers. And I do check it from time to time, the offers file, because sometimes there's things in here like this that kind of give some hints of things to come. Now, the reason why this is a little bit sketchy is because, well, I've heard and I've spoken to and I've heard from people who have been involved in the Battleworld playtest that don't have a lot of good things to say about it, to be blunt. Is that the impression that they got was that it was boring, too easy, and there just wasn't a lot of substance there. That's what I've heard from the people who I've spoken to. Now, I did get a glance at Battleworld before my Envoy program issues, and what I saw was very bare bones. And what I saw, however, was also boring, and I thought was bad, in a bad state. Whereas if they had released it at what I saw, it would have not been received very well. And so the things that I have heard is that perhaps that Battleworld may be, put back in the oven to cook a little bit longer, and then it might be delayed. because there's been a consensus, I think, between the envoys and the Kraken group and the other people who have playtested. I think MSFPV have also playtested it. That it's just not something that where this game is riding on, right? Like I think the success of Battleworld is going to make or break the future of Marvel Strike Force. And that's because the game is in a very precarious position right now, especially with the drama surrounding the release methods of the characters, which I don't like, and I don't think a lot of other people do either. And so to kind of take take the heat off of that, they would have had to release Battle World, a good game mode that people enjoy playing. And if it's not in a good state, from what I've been hearing and from people who have tested it, I they probably don't want to push it out if it's not going to be received very well, or if the consensus is that it's probably not going to be received very well. And but this has a lot of implications, a lot, right? Like it's supposed to come out at the end of the month or early November. And if you kept up with my other videos, then you would have known that the Shadow King is supposed to be a Battle World / War Defense team, and he's the team for November and the legendary character for November. So if Battleworld gets delayed, what does that mean for Shadow King? What does that mean for his team? Does the Shadow King still come out? Does the team still come out just without the Battleworld text and it's just a War Defense legendary? Can you imagine if we were told that we hear, okay, all right, here's the Shadow King, and here's just a War Defense legendary? Like, it just wouldn't go over very well, right? And so what does that mean? Would they just like push it back, push the Shadow King back, and bring another team forward? I don't know if that's within their ability and their pipeline to be able to do that. Maybe they can. Maybe that's what'll happen. I don't know. Right? There's a lot of question marks over this, and a lot of people have been kind of waiting for Battleworld. And I've been talking to some people within higher up alliances who have suggested basically if Battleworld gets delayed, that they'll walk from the game, them and a group of them. But at the same time, if it comes out and it's awful, they're also going to do the same. So it's kind of like you're fucked. Either they're fucked either way. Like Scopely, especially if there's a lot of heavy spenders that are basically holding them hostage over this. So I don't really know what's going on regarding that, but there's a possibility that it could be pushed back. So just keep that in mind. The offers, I think in this case, could be subject to change because they may have just forgot to not stop the pushing of these files, and it just happened anyways, and there we are. And maybe that's not actually coming anytime soon, or not. Sorry, not in the immediate, like 2-3 weeks. Because that's normally what happens when it comes to data mines. Is that normally it's like 2 to 3 weeks out. I just don't see this happening right now, but we'll see. Right, we'll follow this. Now, I do want to do something really quickly here. Is I want to go back over my slides again, which I've updated. I mentioned this. So Zone 1, I'm going to assume you guys all saw my video, so I'm not going to explain this again. But Zone 1, some changes you'll see in brackets here. So Mission 5 is known as the Elite Mission. And these Elite Missions are going to be the ones that provide purple ISO as rewards. Okay? And so in this instance, yeah, I know people hate it when I have my frame. So just, there you go. All right, I'm gone. So SK team is Shadow King team, or Annihilators. All right, I don't have the name for it just yet. Remember, it's like a mutant psychic based team. But anyways, Mission 5, all Mission 5s on each zone is going to be those elite missions that give purple ISO. So in this case, it's going to be the Shadow King team or Annihilators, but that's not really what's important. It's, again, some of these bracket ones, right? So you have Mercenaries on Zone 2, Mission 1, but then the bonus traits are Mercs for Money. So obviously they're wanting to push you into certain characters to give you bonus points for that mission. It's also a way that they can kind of sell certain teams, which are going to be included in this. You'll see. So Global Villain, we have Cabal. So you want to use Cabal, and you're going to get bonus points for doing that. Undying for Mission 3. Now we have Zombie Scarlet Witch that's going to be around the corner as well by the end of the month. So that's something that they're going to want to sell you because you're going to get bonus points for using this. And also Hell is part of Asgardian, so that's fine. Bio and Asgard makes Undying. Mutant, they have Alpha Flight. Now, I heard that the Pegasus or Orcus thing, which you saw on Mission 5 on almost everything, was a placeholder. So I don't know if this is going to continue to be Pegasus or Orcus. I know that it's not going to be there on every zone. So do keep that in mind now. That was a placeholder for the other elite missions, probably for newer teams. Zone number 3, you do have Illuminati here at Zone 3, Mission 2. You have Out of Time on Mission 3. And then you have Spider Society or Superior 6 on Mission 4. So again, these are just kind of breaking down more specific characters that you're going to use to get bonus points for your alliance. Then you have Extreme X-Men here on Mission 2. So what that means is that basically for Mission 1, you're not, this is anything but Extreme X-Men. I suppose you could use maybe like a mixture of Alpha Flight and Old Man Logan, especially if you're using them here. This one here is Mutant Hero or Brawler, right? That's not a bonus thing, but you have to, these are all, like, you're going to have to spread out your X-Men here accordingly. And then Mission 4 is MSF original bonuses. Now, the funny thing is because I actually thought that Oath was going to have that tag, but now it appears that she does not. So there's only like 4 of them, right? All Kestrel and Deathpool. It's Spider Weaver, right? Yeah, so there's 4 of them. I guess you'd have to use 4 of them in APOC, I suppose, on this Mission 4. And then again, Mission 5, probably placeholder. And then Zone 5, finally, we have City or Support. Hive Mind is who you want to use for this one. And then we have Orcus for fill-in tech here, which means, I guess, if this mission stays as Pegasus or Orcus, it basically means you have to use Pegasus. Or you use Orcus here, and you forego the bonus points here on Mission 3. And then you can see here on Mission 4 with Hero Mystic, it is requiring Night Stalkers. Now, the interesting thing, of course, is Agatha is not a Hero Mystic. So basically, you're only going to get bonus points for 4 characters. And then you'll just use someone else in there instead. And this level 101 Asgard is real. We're going to talk about this more in a separate video. Basically, I do think that the level cap is coming because this was not a joke. Because the bonus character for this one, for this mission, is going to be Odin. I think this is a bonus mission because the elites are supposed to be mission 5, so maybe mission 6 is like an even more bonus purple ISO mission, I guess. I think that's it. That's all I have. And I heard also, by the way, I forgot to change it, but there was a 2 diamond thing down here that's being removed. So I heard that that's gone. No 2 diamond requirements, but there will be things as high as 7 yellow and gear tier 19. That's still a thing as far as I'm aware. And yeah, I think that's about it. I just wanted to share with you guys about the bonus traits because, again, they're just finding ways to include some of the newer characters in it for you to be able to do that. All right, there I am. So that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Do you think the Battleworld is going to be pushed back? What is your thoughts if Battleworld gets pushed back? Let's put it that way. Let me know in the comments down below how you would feel if Battleworld is pushed back another 3 months into Q1 of 2025. There was some suggestion that this might be the case. Whether or not that comes to pass, I don't know. That's going to be the end of this video, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.